Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hello and welcome back to Business Today. Viewers, today we have something rather different for you. Before I start, I'd like to give you a little bit of statistics on self-employment. The number of self-employed workers in the UK rose by 224,000 to 4.76 million in the 3 months to July 2016 compared to the previous year. Now, since 2011, the self-employed workforce has grown by 21%, and the fastest growing segment of these workers are those in highly skilled or professional segment, or professional roles. This group alone contributed £109 billion to the UK economy in 2015, with independent professionals in higher demand than ever before. That figure is only likely to increase year on year. Now, the reason why I gave you these statistics is because it's important for us to understand that the self-employment industry is growing, and it's important that we take part. Now, for those of you who are university graduates, there is a growing concern that when they finish graduation, it's really difficult to get a job. And today's program is about that. We have a guest here whose name is Imran Ahmed, who is a prime example, and he can actually explain and give us a brief on how he did it and how he came out from graduation and continued with what he actually enjoyed. And with us we have another guest whose name is Mashahid Hassan Simanto, who is a delegate come from Bangladesh, and very interestingly actually he's a professional trainer and speaker. He's spoken in front of thousands of people and has recently been to a few universities including Cambridge, Oxford, yeah. And coming back to Imran, Imran's a freelance marketing consultant. Gentlemen, welcome onto the show.
Thank you very much.
May I start off with Imran, if that's okay? Sure. Okay, Imran, could you give us a brief on your background and how you started?
Yeah, sure. So thank you for having me on as well. So my name's Imran. I'm originally from Buckinghamshire, outside of London, and I've had an interest in business from quite a young age. Coming from a traditional Pakistani family, my dad used to work as an engineer for quite a prominent organisation, and he used to travel the world and was always away. But then for practical issues and family issues, he decided to kind of set up his own business. So he walked away from that, and then, as you know, when you set up a family business, as young people, we had to get stuck in. So from the age of 9, 10, I was having to go into the office, pick up the phones, prepare the invoices, send these out to clients. So from quite a young age, I had a good understanding about business, about marketing. But then alongside that, he kind of set up a voluntary group called Cheshire Asian Welfare Society. So whilst he was running a business, he was doing other kind of different projects. And that kind of inspired me to look into business and go into something that I could do myself, rather than being at the mercy of an employer, being stuck in some office 9 to 5. So essentially, just seeing my dad do what he did from nothing really inspired me and really encouraged me to kind of get into business and do my own thing.
Okay, I'll come back to you actually. I will speak further on that. Simanto, can I ask you about your background and how you come involved with inspiring and motivating people?
I'm from Jahangir University, Institute of Business Administration, and currently I'm studying in my final year. So from the very beginning of my university life, I tried to do something different. And on that particular moment, I actually didn't try to choose something which is traditional, which is becoming a employee of a multinational company or working for an NGO or becoming a government officer. These are really too mainstream. So on that moment, I need to ask myself two questions. One, what is my passion? Second one, the passion I have, whether that is positive for the society or not. So I asked these two questions to myself, and I actually got the answer within myself. That is, my passion is thinking and speaking, and what are the sector I can use my passion? These are the training and motivational sectors. So from the first year, I actually started giving training and motivation in different sectors, and this is how I am actually continuing right now.
Okay, one thing we can see here for sure is they both started while they were studying. So that gives a lot of information. It's very important that if you have ability, if you have the motivation, get started while you're studying. I can't see anything wrong earning while you're learning, is there?
Absolutely nothing.
So Imran, you're a freelance marketing consultant and has worked both in the private and public sector. Yeah. So what made you consider going into a career of freelancing?
It was by mistake. I was actually in college and I read a newspaper article which was kind of looking at freelancing and how businesses would look to reduce costs wherever possible. So if they didn't need a full-time department, they would hire contractors, consultants to come in for a project and do that for a set period and move on. And that sounded really intriguing. But, you know, you could work for a company for a year, earn good money, and then move on to another project, a new client. Because I didn't like this idea of, you know, just being with one company for the rest of your life, doing a 9-to-5 job. I wanted to do something where I could go into a business, add value, look at what they're doing and what they're not doing, and really give in some useful support and advice. So when I got into college, I had this idea that I wasn't going to pursue a 9-to-5 career or a proper corporate job. And then from there, I just had a plan that I was going to go freelance, I was going to go independent. And as soon as I got into London, got into university, I started meeting the right people, met some really influential politicians, and thankfully things just worked out themselves. It's a really difficult thing to explain, but just by having that goal and vision, things just started happening. Doors started opening, I started meeting the right people, and then when I got into university, I launched my own business society. And that really kicked things off because I was able to go to businesses around London and say, look, I've got access to over 23,000 students. Now, not the average student can't do that. So I had companies like Nando's, WH Smith, Ryman's sponsor us and give us money to promote their products. So I thought, I've become a middleman here. I can kind of guide them on how they can promote to students, and I'm earning an income whilst I'm studying. So for me, it's a win-win. I was working with big brands. I was in university making money, more than I would have done in a part-time job.
Definitely, yeah.
And it just seemed like a no-brainer. So I did my homework when I was in uni, and when I left, I had really solid contacts that I could go back to, pick up some contracts, and alhamdulillah, it would just work from there.
Okay, what is it that you actually did?
Study?
Yeah.
I studied international marketing.
International
so
marketing,
I did.
so
I'm doing something that I studied.
Okay, that's all right. Okay,
Yeah.
I actually thought you were doing something different.
Well, you know, most students, they study some, you know, one subject and end up somewhere completely different. I was keen that I've studied marketing for the last 3 to 5 years. I need to make sure, you know, I back it up and get into that. Yeah,
being so young, you know, how
know if
did
I'm
you
that young.
find it? I mean, no, at the time in your university life, how did you find it approaching people and trying to do business?
It was difficult because when you're kind of looking to kickstart this off, you haven't really got the experience, so you're trying to kind of wing it a little bit because you're going to businesses without having a proper plan. But I knew, look, I've got access to over, you know, a large number of students. They are looking to actively promote these students. So it wasn't necessarily a difficult thing. It was just being in front of the right people. And what I did with a couple of other friends is we just wore suits, took a notepad, went to businesses in the local area and said, look, do you need any marketing support? Do you need any help? And you know, 9 times out of 10, small businesses in particular, they need websites, they need social media, and they haven't got the budget for that. But they'll happily hire a student for a small fee to help them carry out what they need. And that's what really got me interested in it. I knew it could work, but it takes time, it takes effort and persistence because it wasn't always hunky dory. There were difficult periods, but my family supported me, my friends supported me. And as they say, money talks. So when you start earning them income and you start seeing you can actually make a living, I've just stuck at this, and I'm quite keen on pursuing a career in it.
Excellent. And how did you make the time for
know,
I mean, you've got these external jobs that's coming on top of your education.
Okay, here's something which many people don't know. When I was in university, I missed several lectures and seminars, and in my final year, I found someone in India who basically, and I can say this now because I've actually graduated, who did assignment, kind of helped you with your assignments and coursework. And not with all of them, but with some of them, I outsourced them to someone in India. He did my work for me. I proof checked it, made sure it was right. But I knew that after my first year of university, I realised what I was being taught wasn't really going to kind of help me in my career. And the biggest issue I had lecturers in business and marketing who had never been in business, had never been in marketing, yet were lecturing hundreds of students on how to be in business and how to be in marketing. I thought, this doesn't seem right to me. So I felt I had to kind of do something myself. But you have to make that time, and I sacrificed it. You know, I would have taken a lower grade, but I knew the experience was going to be crucial and king in kind of furthering my career. So I kind of had to do things.
You certainly had this belief in yourself that you will succeed in that field.
Well, the thing is, I come from a small town in Buckinghamshire, so coming to London where you've got all these big businesses, you feel this is the place to be. So I felt, I'm here for 3 years, I need to make sure I make the most of my time. And you know, alhamdulillah, through prayers, hard work, persistence, it paid off.
Oh,
I
mashallah,
was very fortunate.
that's great. I'm going to come back to you.
No.
Sumanto, about yourself as well, what made you go into this field of motivation speaking and training?
Actually, I need to start this story from the early age of my life, because I was really introvert when I was in my school and college, and I was really sensitive when people are actually humiliating me or insulting me in some cases. When I was in my college, I actually made some wrong decision due to have some adventurous life. I was really adventurous. On that moment, I need to do something new. That particular intention actually leads me to do something really wrong. So on that moment, my college decided to give me a TC, transfer certificate. That means they actually forced me to leave that renowned college of Bangladesh. From that particular time, I actually shifted into a small village schools of my college.
Okay.
But I didn't have enough opportunity there. I actually found that maybe our teachers, they had the intention to teach us, but somehow there is no proper environment to have a very good competition to develop ourselves. So after that, when I actually get into my university, after the university first year, I suddenly found that I got 2 courses failed and I made a year drop. Suddenly I actually faced a lot of pressure from my family, because there are 2 small expectations from the family. One, their son would be a good son, their son would be a good student. But unfortunately, for a long amount of time, I was not able to fulfill those small expectations of my family. Suddenly I actually asked myself, what is my unique contribution and unique impact to this world? I found that is zero. To some extent, that is negative, because I caused trouble to my parents. So on that moment, I actually felt that I need to do something so that my absence and existence in this world creates some value. On that moment, I actually started evaluating myself. That is called self-evaluation, and I found that I am really good at thinking and speaking. I started attending different competitions, and after 6 months, I actually started achieving in some competitions, and suddenly a small school from the rail station of Dhaka actually invited me to train their people about speech. So there were 30 students who actually from grade 6 to grade 10, I actually spoke for 2 hours. Suddenly they actually gave me 300 taka, that may be 3 pounds if we actually convert in UK currency. So I actually took those 300 taka and gave it to my mother. My mom cried on that day, and I got the actual feeling of family bonding, and I felt that what is the actual expectation, because every family, they want their children to actually take care of the family when they are actually eligible and when they are actually out of their university. Because of my year drop and previous college occurrence, the family actually, they had a limited hope from me. But when they found that I actually earned 3 pounds by giving a 2-hour lectures, then they actually felt that yes, his boy is doing something for the family. From that particular time, I actually started making a dream, and my dream is to becoming the best corporate consultant and speaker. So what I actually did, I created a dream CV. Dream CV means after passing this university, what are the elements I want to see in my CV. I wrote my CV, make a printout and set on my wall. And after that, I created my present CV. My present CV had nothing other than my name, my hobby, my favorite movie, my favorite film stars, what are the places I visited. So when I actually had my dream CV in front of me and my present CV in front of me, I could actually compare. These are my dream, this is my current situation, and I need to achieve a lot. I need to do these things in order to make my dream CV into a reality. So that actually gave me the boost. I started developing my skills. I started attending many training conferences. I started watching these types of talk shows. I started attending many seminars and 2-day, 3-day workshops, and I started developing myself. And I had a parallel function. For example, I learned writing A, I started teaching A. And at the same time, I learned writing B. So parallel function. I'm learning something new, and the things I already learned, I'm giving training to different persons. So after school, suddenly I got a call from the college. After the college, I got a call from the Shere Bangla Agriculture University. And after that, I made a long jump. That is called, we all know about the CA degree, Chartered Accountancy, that is really prestigious. So there was one organization in Bangladesh, ICMAB, Institute of Chartered Management of, Accountants of Bangladesh. I actually gave them a proposal that I previously trained in 50 universities, 15 school colleges and universities, and I want to train people of ICMAB. So after a long time, probably that training director got something to have a really natural entertainment. He actually insulted me, and he actually could not believe that a guy from second year university could train the people from ICMAB, and every single people, they have the minimum job experience of 5 to 10 years. So what I actually did, after that, ICMAB, they had a public session, public training program of communication and public speaking. I attended that particular training as an audience. After attending as an audience, before the program was about to end within 5 or 10 minutes, and I actually go to the training director. I told him that, yes, I actually called you because I wanted to train your individuals. Before that time, he actually didn't see me. He actually thought that university second year students should be taller, stronger, and should have a personality or the at least outlook so that they can easily understand. But he actually felt that I'm a 6 or class 7 grade young boy actually having something from his papa, that if he actually didn't give me, then I would cry. So that was his feelings on that time. So he gave me a challenge. That was after ending of the program, he would call one audience to share his feelings. On that time, I would technically give you the floor. You would speak for 1 or 2 minutes. I would judge about your speaking capability. If I feel you are satisfactory, then I would invite you for the next event. I took the challenge. I spoke for 2 minutes, and the next public session of the ICMAB, I was invited as one of the resource person.
Wow, congratulations.
So
That's great.
this is how we need to take challenge. We have to take challenge. At the same time, it is really important to understand what is my actual strength.
That's right. Thank you very much for that, actually. Viewers, we are actually coming to the break. So please stay tuned and see you after the break.